Very good morning to you. It's 7 a.m., Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025. Welcome to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. We're going to take your calls at 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. What a difference a day makes. 24 hours ago from right now, you couldn't even walk outside. It was so rainy, snowy, cold, and damp. Well, today it's still cold, but it's going to be mostly sunny. Few clouds later. Meteorologist Mike Pavetta has all the details for you with the Garden State forecast.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
So it feels like a crisp fall, almost early winter morning out right now.
Oh, crisp is an understatement. It is really chilly, Ken. Took a walk outside to collect the garbage pails and forgot the gloves. It's a short walk to the street, and yet can't feel the tips of my fingers. That's how cold we're talking. It is the deep freeze that we're about to enter. This is just the beginning of what will be a prolonged period of very cold weather, Ken, that takes us into the next few days. 28 degrees right now on the green in Morristown, 28 as well in Sussex, and you're sharing that down the shore. So can't even hide from the cold, even at short points. 30 below the freezing mark currently in Atlantic City. That's your actual air temperature. You factor in the wind chill, it feels like the 20s statewide with the exception of Trenton and Camden. So plenty of cold weather around this morning, running several degrees colder than this time yesterday. And of course, there is a whole lot of sunshine today. It doesn't do anything to warm us up, keeps us in the deep freeze for the next several days. In fact, take a look at these temperatures that dive into the 20s overnight tonight. We'll barely make it above the freezing point today, but tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., 15 in Sussex, and even down to places like Millville, 31 degrees. Then by tomorrow evening, we're back down in the teens, slide into the single digits, and stay there for Friday morning. So Friday morning, actual air temperature of 6 degrees up in Sussex, 12 in Morristown, even in Newark, 20 degrees. Real big time cold that barely makes it above freezing mark all day on Friday. As some rain starts to move in across southern New Jersey. That may lightly transition into a brief snow shower by Friday afternoon. But again, it's that system that stays so far out to sea because it can't nudge its way up because that cold air is so dense it just pushes all of that snow right out to sea. So again, that was the it's too cold to snow scenario that'll take place on Friday into Saturday. The next few days, keeping it chilly. Temperatures down in the teens and 20s overnight. Highs barely climbing above freezing, especially on Friday. The core of the cold. We'll let you know when it all breaks and if it ever warms up on the 7-day. That's coming up with your weekend weather, Ken, in a few minutes.
So you're saying it's going to be winter like from now till eternity. Basically, we're in hell right now is what you're saying. Okay. And
It
Pam is
froze
like,
over.
oh, if this is hell, I'm good. I'm good. My goodness. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, sir. It is 31 chilly degrees right now in northern New Jersey, 29 in Trenton, and it's 30 degrees now down the shore at Cape May, 31 degrees in Vineland. In terms of traffic, here's what we have. Let's take a look at the Garden State Parkway, shall we? There is a disabled vehicle on the GSP, and this is northbound just north of exit 147. If you look, you see all the bumper to bumper coming at you. And that's what that's about right there. So they have a disabled vehicle, again, the Garden State Parkway northbound, north of exit 147, Clinton Avenue, East Orange with the center lane blocked. Staying on the Garden State, we have a crash a little further south from there, northbound, north of exit 90, Chambers Bridge Road in Lakewood. All lanes are open, though. And then over on 1 and 9, we have a crash reported. The express lane southbound south of 1 and 9 truck route, which is the Pulaski Skyway in Newark, the right lane of 2 lanes closed. That's going to be a mess. We'll keep our eye on that because that causes residual problems with connecting roadways. Water main break right now, Route 17 southbound south of Central Ave in Maywood. And we have a reported issue now on US 9 southbound north of Route 10, Gunning River Road in Barnegat. All lanes are closed down there. Let's look at the Hudson River crossing, shall we? The Lincoln Tunnel is now reporting 30 to 35. The Holland Tunnel right now is 30 minutes, which is a lot for this hour. And let's look at the GWB upper and lower levels of U95 approach. Very, very heavy. And you notice 90% of the vehicles are trucks. Again, like I've been saying, this time of year, you have trucks bringing in the toys, the clothes, the food to Manhattan. We have all the visitors. So that's why people always ask, why is it the traffic is so bad? The visitors don't drive necessarily. It's because you have the trucks all delivering goods into Manhattan for the holidays so that you can go shopping and say, wow, the stores are all packed. That's how the stores get packed, folks, right there. So just expect it for the next few weeks. 7:05 is our time. Ultra-leftist James Solomon has won the mayoral runoff for Jersey City, beating out former New Jersey governor and fellow Democrat Jim McGreevey, though technically the race is nonpartisan. This was a closely watched race to lead New Jersey's second-largest city. The election followed a seven-candidate general contest in November in which neither finalist got more than 50% of the vote. The runoff centered heavily on affordability, rising housing costs, and the city's projected $150 million budget shortfall. Why is it every Democrat-run city has a multi-hundred million dollar budget shortfall? Scratch my head and figure that one out. Solomon has been called the Zohran Mamdani of Jersey City. Good luck with that. With radical left-wing views on how to deal with affordability issues. Interesting parallels here. Check this out. Both New York and New Jersey had older white male Democrats who are former governors in their respective states who resigned in disgrace and tried to revive their political careers by running for mayor in a city named for the state. You got all that? Let me give you the examples here. Governor Cuomo was the governor of New York, resigned in disgrace, ran to be mayor of New York, right? City with the same name of the state. He lost to a person way more liberal than him. Over to New Jersey. Governor McGreevey was the governor of New Jersey, ran for mayor of Jersey City after having to resign in disgrace. Again, he ran for mayor of Jersey City, named after the state, lost to a fellow Democrat more liberal than him. You can't make this stuff up, but it shows you where the Democrats are headed, and that is way to the left. Over in Nashville, Tennessee, we will now see a congressman, a Republican congressman, so that district will continue to be represented by a Republican after former GOP Congressman Mark Green resigned in July. That triggered a special election for Tennessee's 7th congressional district. Now, former state official Matt Van Epps was declared the winner. The district was represented by Republicans for years, and President Trump carried it by 22 points in the 2024 election. Still, millions of dollars from both parties flowed into the district ahead of the special election because they wanted to make it look like an analysis of where Trump is at this point. Well, if this is an analysis, fair weather, bellwether, Trump wins. There you go. A Democrat state representative, radical leftist Afton Bain, she won her party's special primary back in October, but she had recordings that were online in which she said she hated Nashville, hated country music, hated and wanted to defund the police. She even was arrested for trying to break into the governor's office and scream at the governor, and she got arrested. The video of that. She's nuts. So I guess Tennessee's citizens finally realized they hate her back as much as she said she hates them. But here's what's interesting. All of left-wing media today says that Van Epps won by a nail biter. It was a nail biter. Okay, he won by 9 points. How the hell is 9 points a nail biter? Meanwhile, Mikey Sherrill won New Jersey by 13 points. That was called a landslide by the liberal left media. So if you are a liberal and you win by a whole bunch of points, it's a landslide. But if you're a conservative and you win by almost the same amount of points, it's a nail biter. That's called propaganda. And that's what you have from today's left. Don't believe mainstream media is honest. In fact, only 28% of all people surveyed by 2 different major polls in the last 6 months, only 28% of all people believe mainstream media is nonpartisan. The rest of the people, 3/4 say no, they're partisan hacks, and they are. 7:09, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem will recommend travel bans on more countries, citing concerns about criminal activity that is harming the U.S. The exact countries and start date for the proposed ban not yet announced. It would expand President Trump's earlier list of 19 countries to roughly 30. The announcement follows a shooting of 2 National Guard members in Washington, D.C. by an Afghan national who arrived under the Biden-era Operation Allies Welcome program, of course. In response, the Trump administration has paused asylum approvals and ordered a review of green cards from the 19 previously listed countries to ensure stricter vetting. One of our National Guardsmen was killed, a young woman, only 19, 20 years old, unnecessarily so. Costco has filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration in the U.S. Court of International Trade, seeking full refunds of import duties it paid under broad global tariffs imposed by President Trump under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. The company argues only Congress, not the president, has the constitutional authority to impose tariffs. That's kind of questionable, Costco. You know that. Presidents have imposed tariffs for centuries in this country. They say it makes the president's actions unlawful. Costco plans on combining its case with nearly 24 similar lawsuits filed by other U.S. companies. If I were Costco, Trump is a vengeful kind of guy. You know what they say? If you go after the king, you better not miss. You better not miss Costco. In this case, I'm hoping you do miss, but it's pretty stupid. Pretty stupid move. You got the money in the bank. Don't be stupid. Anyway, importers may not automatically receive refunds without court order, and that's why they did this. Well, in a move of radical political activism, the city of San Francisco, has filed a lawsuit against several major food corporations, including New Jersey-based Mondelez, accusing them of knowingly manufacturing and marketing ultra-processed foods that contribute to chronic illness. The city argues these companies use marketing tactics similar to the tobacco industry, prioritizing profits over public health, causing all sorts of diseases. Well, just keep in mind, if San Francisco wins a judgment, that would mean when you go buy your foods in the supermarket, you're going to be paying a lot more for things like ketchup and cookies because the asshole leftists in San Fran won a lawsuit with an asshole leftist district court. So you better hope that this lawsuit gets thrown out. 7-Eleven right now, and ICE is reportedly preparing a large-scale enforcement operation focused on Somali immigrants in Minneapolis, particularly focusing on those with final deportation orders. The planned operation will involve roughly 100 federal agents deployed from around the country. The move comes as a federal investigation has been launched involving a $1 billion COVID-era food scandal involving the Minneapolis area Somali community, and apparently backed by their liberal Governor Walz, after the administration revoked the community's temporary protected status, which was granted back in 1991. So you got to figure, why would the governor try to protect the Somali community there when they might be involved in a $1 billion scam? Think about it. It is 31 degrees right now, 7:13, mostly sunny. A few clouds later, highs about 40. Meteorologist Mike Favetta will return with your full Garden State forecast. And we'll take your calls, 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. It's a Wednesday morning. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings. We'll be back in 2. Don't go away.
Our Stable Life, New Jersey's first equine wellness center. Are you or a loved one suffering from PTSDs, trauma, or life challenges? Consider non-riding equine therapy, where the soul is touched by the presence of a horse with a certified counselor. Our Stable Life is a non-profit at Bergen Equestrian Center in Leonia, New Jersey. We partner with individuals, groups, and agencies to help people recover from addiction, trauma, phobias, and more. Explore equine therapy for healing. BergenEquestrianCenter.com.
At AmeriHealth, we understand what's important to you. It's why we offer some of the lowest cost health plans in New Jersey, with access to one of the state's largest networks of doctors and hospitals. Plus, with free 24/7 virtual care, you can see a doctor anytime and anywhere. And we're committed to giving back to help make a difference in our communities. Learn more at AmeriHealth.com. A health plan for everyone.
Hello again. Welcome back to New Jersey Mornings. It is Wednesday. I'm Ken Rosato at 7:15, and we're taking your calls at 888-658-0234. Mostly sunny today, a few clouds later, highs about 40. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with the Garden State forecast. And is it true, Mike, well, we'll ask you in a second about Rocco the dog taking a walk this morning?
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
Thank you to our good friends at Audio Note for that. So I'm sorry. So I understand that Rocco, as you went to walk him this morning, Rocco gave you a
Yes.
look like, are you out of your mind?
He ran back in the house so quickly. I thought like something spooked him in the backyard. I went, oh, okay, it must be that cold. Because, yeah, it's chilly. You may walk outside yourself this morning and go, no, it's come right back inside because there is a special chill to the air that only gets colder over the next few days. So it starts this morning, whether you're walking the dog, whether you're doing some morning errands, it's chilly. And even through this afternoon, highs struggling just to make it into the 40s. We get to about 41 in Mattawan and Freehold, but that's about it, and keep it chilly all through this afternoon. So we're still running about 10 degrees below average, and it stays cold over the next several days. It's the wind chill, especially tomorrow, that you really feel with all of that cold air. Starting at 6 a.m. tomorrow, it feels like 8 or 9 degrees up in Sussex and Morris County, 14 in Flemington, even feels like 27 down toward Toms River, 20 in Newark, and 32 in Cape May. While the wind isn't as harsh on Friday morning, it's still going to be that much colder because with wind chills dropping the temperature to feeling like 0 overnight, Friday morning, even 6 degrees in Flemington, 9 in Morristown, 16 in Newark. It's going to be a really cold start. And it stays chilly all through the morning, even into the afternoon, just trying to make to what feels like freezing. And that's the forecast even into this weekend, a harsh cold that doesn't want to give way even by Saturday and Sunday. So the winds won't be as terrible throughout the day. Maybe a little gustier tomorrow, a 20-mile-per-hour wind chill. A 20-mile-per-hour wind with that cold air makes wind chills in the 20s all afternoon. And even for Saturday and Sunday, still a little breezy, but just adding to the chill. At least we're sunny. It is dry and it is cold. That's the only saving grace with all of this cold weather. It keeps any storm clouds at bay, likely just a few passing clouds each afternoon. Even these snow showers over the Great Lakes, they zip off to our north over the next few days. So the futurecast keeps us clear, but very cold going into tonight and tomorrow. Actual air temperatures, like I showed you before, down into the single digits by Friday morning. And then we have a little bit of that, likely some light rain come in by Friday, only for the short points. Might work its way up the turnpike briefly, but again, it's going to be so dry, a lot of that doesn't even make it to the ground. Might see a rogue snowflake. So no rain, significant rainfall total at least coming in the next 2 days. We're dry in that sense, but it's the weekend forecast that keeps us very chilly, 40 only as the high, chilly each afternoon with a mix of clouds and sun. We get a little sun and then some clouds move in at the end of each day, but it's going to feel quite cold, more like January rather than December. So get ready for the chill, Ken.
Get ready. I've been ready since July. I'm just not a fan of the chill. I've had my parka ready to go since July. I'm like the people in Florida. You know, in Florida, if it gets like 65 degrees, they wear parkas and fur coats and things like that because they just can't take it. All right, sir. Appreciate you. It is 35 degrees, as Mike was saying. You feel the chill in the air at 29 in Trenton. So it depends on where you are in the state. So the further inland now, the colder it is. As you're by the shore, closer to the shore, you get the moderating temperatures from the water, which are still a few degrees warmer. So inland, you feel the cold for sure. Let's check traffic. Go to the Garden State, if you would, please, Pam. And this is what we have, something we reported on earlier. It is now off to the side. You see that black truck. Pam was pointing out that I was illustrating what was the rubbernecking on the other side of the roadway. Hey, stop walking across the bridge. Yeah, you. Yeah, she's looking up. The people coming toward us were just rubbernecking. I thought that was our traffic. I missed it. It's on the right. See that truck on the right shoulder? That was the vehicle that was broken down. So Yeah, there was a police officer there a second ago. Clearly, that's all gotten cleared up. So that's a good thing. We probably won't have that in the next report. There's also a crash a little further south on the Garden State northbound, just north of exit 90, which is Chambers Bridge Road in Lakewood. All lanes are open, but it's very heavy through there as a result. We have a water main break on 17 southbound, south of Central Ave in Maywood with the right lane and the right shoulder closed. We have a down pole on US 9, both directions, north of Gunning River Road in Barnegat. All lanes are closed there. We also have issues now on Route 24 westbound, west of exit 2, Columbia Avenue, Turnpike at 287 in Hanover. We'll look for that. We do have a camera for that. We'll check that out in a little bit. Let's go over, if we can, to the Hudson River crossing. Take a look at what's going on the approach to the Lincoln Tunnel right now at 495, if we could, by Pam's favorite Lion King billboard there. You can see, sorry for the sun glare, but it's very heavy. And that is likely due to what we're pointing out, the sun glare. The sun glare, people are driving east, they get that bright sun in their faces, and those lanes are narrow and twist around a curve. So I'm sure they're just going very slowly as a result. But this is what you got. Slow into the Lincoln. We're told it's 40 to 45 to get into Manhattan by the Lincoln, 35 at the Holland. And then as we take a look over at the approach to the George Washington Bridge, upper and lower levels, 80-95, very heavy for this hour. You can see the upper level on the right, lower level on the left. Lower level just bumper to bumper. Look at that. Just very heavy. And again, the majority of vehicles are trucks. And that is because of the time of the year. 7:21 is our time, and as we reported here yesterday, incoming Lieutenant Governor Dale Caldwell has been tapped by Governor-elect Mikey Sherrill to serve as New Jersey's next Secretary of State. The Lieutenant Governor of New Jersey, which is a relatively new position, because they don't do much as Lieutenant Governor unless the governor's out. They hold a second role so that they have a job that you could justify their salary for. And this is not slighting Lieutenant Governor Caldwell. He seems like a really nice guy, a good guy. I'm just saying that is the way the law was set up. So in this role as Secretary of State, Lieutenant Governor Caldwell will oversee New Jersey's arts, business, and very important, he would be in charge of the state's elections.
And I have the opportunity to leave the Save Time and Money Transition Committee to really focus on cutting through red tape and eliminating unnecessary fees and delays and ensuring that the small businesses, and especially minority-owned businesses, can get the real, reliable support they need and the opportunities they deserve given their capabilities. And so as we look at this idea of saving time and money, we are laser focused on really trying to reduce this red tape and this challenging delay that costs small businesses like Delta's a lot of money. Second piece is culture and tourism. And if anybody who knows me knows, like Mikey, we love history. We love history, and this state has one of the richest histories in America. And so as the Secretary of State, we want to make sure that history is not only collected, but is as vibrant as possible, and that it reaches all of the population. I think too many people don't understand how incredible New Jersey is.
Well, terror murder suspect, 29-year-old Afghan national Rahmullah Lakanwal has been formally charged with murder after allegedly shooting two members of the West Virginia National Guard in Washington, D.C., killing one and injuring another. Investigators say the attack was an ambush near a metro station, the suspect opening fire, and after being wounded, taken into custody. Prosecutors say he is charged with murder, assault with intent to kill, and possession of a firearm during a crime of violence. Lakanwal pleaded not guilty. 7:23, New Jersey lawmakers advanced a bill to strip key investigative powers from the state comptroller and shift them to another watchdog agency. That sparked some backlash from progressives. So now you have, this is happening all over the country. More moderate Republicans are fighting against more moderate Democrats are fighting against more liberal Democrats. In this case, this guy, a liberal Democrat in my book, Andy Kim, he's as far left as they come, but he's being viewed by his party as more to the right. Where's he to the right? Because he doesn't hate Trump enough in their mind. Seriously. U.S. Senator Andy Kim, Acting Comptroller Kevin Walsh, and Attorney General Matt Platkin, the socialists, all testified against the bill, warning it would weaken anti-corruption safeguards. The hearing devolved to petty attacks, with Committee Chair Senator James Beach questioning Kim's anti-Trump record and suggesting Kim isn't that special after making him wait hours to testify. You gotta love it. So Beach is apparently a far left AOC type radical, and he's looking at the mainstream Democrats as a bunch of conservatives. It's unbelievable. Beach also clashed with Platkin, accusing him of giving the state, quote, many black eyes, prompting Platkin to cite possible First Amendment violations over viewpoint discrimination. Acting Comptroller Walsh called the bill an affront to democracy and wants top state leaders to block it. But you got to love it. This just tells you how far left the Democrat Party is getting, that even already liberal Democrats are being viewed as moderate in their eyes. That's scary, folks. That should really make you rethink voting Democrat. 7:25, police in Absecon discovered a man lying dead on the shoulder of South Shore Road near Iowa Avenue Sunday evening. The man showed visible signs of trauma, prompting an investigation. The case being handled by local police in coordination with the Atlantic County Prosecutor's Office, and anyone with information is asked to call police. The New Jersey American Red Cross is yet another very effective agency in another very effective year. In 2025, Garden State Red Cross volunteers, good people, all of them, responded to floods, wildfires, and 1,000 home fires to help affected families with shelters, hot meals, and more. They even distributed financial aid to thousands of people recovering from disasters. In addition to that, the good folks at the Red Cross collected over 105,000 blood donations, and they remind everyone, especially this time of year, the need for blood remains very high. And starting February 1st, U.S. air travelers who don't present a real ID or passport will charge $45 if they want to fly. The fee pays for the use of a new alternative identity verification system called TSA Confirm ID, which passengers may access either online in advance or at the airport when they show up. The fee is non-refundable, and even if you pay, you're not guaranteed it will work. You pay for the possibility it will get you through security. So just get real ID, for God's sake. Confirm ID verification provides clearance for a 10-day travel period. So if you go to the airport today and you're going to fly back in a week, you only have to pay for it once. A reminder that real ID only became necessary after liberal sanctuary states like New Jersey decided to give driver's licenses to frickin' illegal aliens, thus making it impossible for federal agencies to know whether you are presenting valid driver's license showing that you're actually a U.S. citizen. Thank Democrat policies for you having to go out and spend extra money and take the extra time to go get a new real ID license in order to fly. States like Florida never granted driver's licenses to illegals, have always had real ID driver's licenses. There you go. And it is now, oh, look at the time. My goodness. It is now 30 degrees at 7:27. When we come back, there's snow business, like snow business. Who knows more about snow trivia? Meteorologist Mike Pavetta, an Emmy Award-winning professor of meteorology who owns his own forecasting company, or me? It's absolute must-see TV. Mike versus me. Phone lines are open, 888-658-0234. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings. We're back in 2. I'm going to 29 degrees now throughout much of New Jersey, top to bottom. It is 7:30 on Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025. I'm Ken Rosato. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. Mostly sunny today. Maybe a few clouds later. Highs about 40, making it all the way up there. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the detailed Garden State forecast.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
Well, Mike, I hope you have been practicing up on your
Mm-hmm.
snow trivia because I just want to tell you, few people know that my side hobby, my side hustle, is knowing all about snow
Oh,
because I
is
eat it
it?
so much. Yeah. So it's sort of like
No.
it's like an exorcist has to learn about Satan if he wants to defeat him. So I am pretty good
Okay.
with my snow trivia. So we'll see in a minute. We'll see what happens. Just because you're
We'll
like a
see.
professor and you've written like novels and stuff about snow and you teach it and we'll see. We'll see. Sometimes the
Okay.
sometimes the underdog wins.
Well, now I've read on a few children's books about snow too. So we've got the full, curriculum here from
That's
age
all I
0
need.
to 100. So yeah, so we'll break it down in many different levels for all the audiences. But first, we have so much cold, so much chill. It's actually a little too cold to snow by the time we get to this weekend. And you look at the temperatures and go, well, it's in the 40s. Isn't that warm? Yeah, this is briefly the afternoon high. Right now, we are right around that freezing mark from Hamilton toward Egg Harbor City, even Atlantic City. And with the wind chill, it feels even colder. There's quite a bit of wind chill today, even harsher tomorrow, with wind gusts right now anywhere from 19 miles per hour in Atlantic City to 16 miles per hour in Trenton. Yes, it feels cold, but it'll feel even colder by Friday and Saturday when the real core of that cold air settles in. Nowhere near that 49-degree average high today. So we keep it clear, a little breezy through this afternoon. Lots of sun today. Not going to do anything to warm us up though. And look at the futurecast, taking our temperatures right down into the 30s as highs today in northern New Jersey, back down into the teens and 20s overnight. A few clouds come in for tomorrow, bring back even more of a gusty wind by the end of the day, sending our actual air temperatures, not the wind chill, oh no, actual air temperatures down into the single digits here in northern New Jersey for the majority of Friday morning, and then have a little bit of light snow and rain that works its way up the coast briefly or Friday afternoon. This is one to watch because I think it's evolving, especially as this weather system tries to nudge its way back closer to the coast. Might give us a little bit of a coating or some sort of frozen precip by Friday afternoon, predominantly South Jersey. That's key. There's our fronts that should push the system out, and there's the high pressure for Friday morning. And the next system just rise up along the coast, a little bit closer, I think, than we saw yesterday's computer output show. But again, it's just reinforcing shots of cold air that keep that cold weather coming on in. So with the 7-day forecast that has plenty of chilly weather on tap, teens in the overnight, low 30s in the afternoon. Friday's going to be the coldest of yet. I think Saturday and Sunday bring back highs in the low 40s, and then into next week stays chilly. Even the short points, there's our best chance for some snow and rain by Friday afternoon, really only for the shore, and then Saturday and Sunday bringing back temperatures that will hold below average going into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So very cold weather on tap. Yeah, could it snow? Sure. I think the next potential is down the shore on Friday. That'll be one to watch. But again, careful because it's an evolving system. I think most of it should go out to sea.
All right, so we'll see what happens. Speaking of snow, we're going to have our trivia. Don't go far. We're going to do our trivia. I'm all practiced. I stayed up all night rehearsing my snow trivia. So we'll see. Let me just get a little traffic here and then we'll be right back. It's 32 degrees right now in northern New Jersey, 29 degrees in Trenton. It's 30 degrees at Cape May, 31 in Vineland. We go to the Gardens. I'm sorry, we go to 295 first. We have a crash on 295 northbound. North of exit 30, you could see the oncoming traffic is a little heavy there. That's the closest camera we could get. But again, this is 295 northbound, north of exit 30, Warwick Road in Lawnside, a little closer to Philadelphia. The right shoulder is closed, causing just a slight slowdown. Not horrible yet, but the morning is still young for that part of the state. We have a down pole on Route 9, both directions, north of Route 10, Gunning River Road and Barnegat Township with all lanes closed. over the Garden State Parkway. We have that earlier disabled vehicle. It's now off to the right. This is northbound, north of exit 147, Clinton Avenue, East Orange. All lanes are open, but you can see a little bit of rubbernecking, a little slowdown as people pass that vehicle on the right. And then there's usually volume in that area at this time of the day anyway. So to be expected. We have a water main break, Route 17 southbound south of Central Avenue, Maywood, with the right lane and right shoulder closed. And then over to the approach to the Lincoln Tunnel. This is causing a lot of delays, and I think a lot of it is because they're heading eastbound. They get that bright sun glare. This is 495 just before the Helix. You can see it's very slow. They're only going about 5 miles an hour, making their way into the Lincoln. As a result, from that point, which is just about a mile and a quarter from Manhattan, or I should say from the mouth of the Lincoln. It's about 2.25 miles from Manhattan at that point. You're talking 45 to 50 minutes in as a result of a lot of that glare. So just beware of that. Your Holland Tunnel approach right now is 35, and the GWB, upper and lower level, very heavy today. Yesterday was very light. Today, look at the GWB approach. 8095 is bumper to bumper. It is 45 to 50 that way as well. All right, folks. If you blinked yesterday at this time, you might have missed it. Snowfall, unless you were in the upper northwest part of the state. Boy, do I sound like a meteorologist. Yes, parts of New Jersey did see a brief burst of snow, and it closed some school districts, delayed some, put some counties in a state of emergency. Just to be careful, because it was the first time people would have encountered snow in the better part of a year. Well, it wasn't that much, but enough to get everybody talking about winter and what might be coming up next. So this morning, we have a little fun with it. Mike, who is for real a professor of meteorology, who owns his own weather company, his own weather service, who has taught probably thousands of students meteorology, versus the dunce, the guy who had to pay his teachers to pass him through school. We are going to have a little contest for snow trivia. Are you ready, Michael?
I'm ready. Can't wait.
There's snow business like snow business.
Like snow business.
All right, we have a little snow facts quiz here, and I get to start. How big, Michael, meteorologist Mike Favetta, how big was the world's largest snowflake? Was it A, 7 inches, B, 15 inches, or C, 23 inches?
I would say 7 inches.
You're wrong.
No, what is it?
15 inches. A hell of a
15
snowflake.
inches.
You would think it would be now, come on, we're teasing about a lot of stuff here, but wouldn't it something that big be so heavy that it would have to fall to earth? You must have had a lot of upward draft wind to allow that to happen. But why didn't it turn into something like hail?
Yeah,
It's
or
crazy.
just, kind of poof, and hit the ground.
You would think. How did somebody measure it? There we go. Anyway, go ahead. It's you on me here.
Okay. Next question is, this is a great one for Ken, the part-time Florida resident. Oh, no, I think I just gave it away. I just gave it away. What city has snow never been reported in?
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You know this one? Okay. Is it San
No.
Diego, Vegas, or Key West?
Oh, okay. Of course, I'm going to say Key West because
Yeah.
there has been snow in Miami. And it happened, by the way, trivia, 1973 or 74, Christmas morning.
Mid-70s, right?
Right? It was Christmas morning, and every police went around the neighborhoods with their sirens going to wake kids up at 5 o'clock in the morning so they could actually see snow for the first time in their lives. That really happened.
Very rare.
We used to talk about
Very
that on
rare.
TV.
It is interesting to know people that grew up down in the tropics and for them to come up here to New York and go, I've never seen snow. Like, really? Yeah.
Isn't
It's
that
exciting.
crazy?
It is.
It is. And kids like we're trying to make snow angels, and the parents were like, no, it's like a dusting. You can't really do that.
Right.
I love that. All right, here we go. The Native American Inuits. It's a linguistics question. I mean, this isn't really fair, but the Native American Inuits have 50 words for snow. But how many words in Scottish are there for snow? By the way, disclaimer, there are two different Scottish languages. There's Scots and Celtic. We're talking about Scots, which is the Germanic language.
Okay.
Okay. Are there 421 words for things related to snow?
Oh,
673 words or 35 words?
I'm going with 35 words.
believe it or not, 421 words.
Oh my
And I would bet,
goodness.
now again, the key here is related to snow, not the actual word
Yeah,
for
the
snow.
actual
So my
word for
bet
snow,
is,
sure.
being that it's Scottish, I would bet a lot of those words are not words we'd say on TV.
Sure.
Look at the bloody snow! All right. All right,
Oh,
go ahead,
okay.
sir.
Next one is how many types of snowflakes are there? See, here's a good science question. Are there
Oh,
16, 28, or more than 35 types of snowflakes?
I would say 28.
Mm, actually, more than 35. I would say
Wow,
28
okay.
too, but there's a long, chain of these hexagonal shapes that you make. So they've
Look at
been
that
studied.
fancy word, hexagonal.
Hexagonal, yes,
Hey,
with
if I could talk
120
about
degree angles.
Germanic Scots, then you could talk about hexagonal. Uh, all right. How much water does you should know this one? How much water does 10 inches of typical East Coast snow usually melt down to? Is it 3 inches, 2 inches, or 1 inch? So it's 10 inches of snow melts down to.
I like that they said an East Coast snow because typically our ratios are 10 to 1 here in New Jersey, so that would melt down to 1 inch of snow.
There you go. I knew you'd get that one for sure. But is it because of the how dry and how moist it, or the temperature? If it's denser snow, it melts down to more. Is that how the difference? Whereas
Exactly.
light and
It's called the
fluffy is
snow ratio. And the
gotcha.
snow ratio, typically they're much fluffier. The fluffier, dry, powdery snows that you find up in ski country in Vermont,
Right.
those are higher ratio snows, like 20 to 1, for instance. So 20 inches of snow would melt down to 1 inch. But you go down toward the coast, Tom's River, Atlantic City, those places, typically it's a denser, more compact, slushy, heavy snow to shovel. Those are like 5 to 1 ratio snows, where only 5 inches of snow melts down to 1 inch of rain.
Interesting. All right, we got like 30
Mm.
seconds. I'll throw you one more. One. Oh no,
Sure.
you have to throw me one. That's right. You have to
Oh,
throw me one.
okay. I mean, you're clearly winning. There's no chance of me coming back in this
No, no, it's 3-2. It's 3-2.
What? All right. Last one. True or false? Snow is white.
False.
Technically, it is clear. Very good, because the air bubbles, those microscopic air bubbles, make the similar to the way a clear crystal of ice, in say like a fancy bar, you have the clear cocktail ice. That would be as opposed to your refrigerator ice, which is white because it has the little air bubble trapped in it.
Well, I'll tell you what. There's another question to go, so you have a shot. So we'll do that later. We're coming back in 2 minutes. Watching on New Jersey Mornings.
Our Stable Life, New Jersey's first equine wellness center. Are you or a loved one suffering from PTSDs, trauma, or life challenges? Consider non-riding equine therapy, where the soul is touched by the presence of a horse with a certified counselor. Our Stable Life is non-profit at Bergen Equestrian Center in Leonia, New Jersey. We partner with individuals, groups, and agencies to help people recover from addiction, trauma, phobias, and more. Explore equine therapy for healing. BergenEquestrianCenter.com.
At AmeriHealth, we understand what's important to you. It's why we offer some of the lowest cost health plans in New Jersey, with access to one of the state's largest networks of doctors and hospitals. Plus, with free 24/7 virtual care, you can see a doctor anytime and anywhere. We're committed to giving back to help make a difference in our communities. Learn more at AmeriHealth.com. A healthland for everyone.
Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato at 7:45, taking calls at 888-658-0234. You know what's funny? On social media right now, we're streaming live on Instagram Live. We have like a few hundred people who are like shouting out answers, but everyone's too chicken talking to Instagram. You're all too chicken to call. Call the show. You can even video stream if you want. And the number is, again, 888-658-0234. They're all shouting out answers. The snow trivia off to my right. Just call up and you take part. Anyway, mostly sunny today, a few clouds later, highs around 40. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the Garden State forecast.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
So for the record, Mike, we were supposed to have a guest right now who, by coincidence, I think there was divine intervention. By coincidence, 15 minutes ago, our guest said that he has an issue that just came up and he can't be on. So that gives us a free block. We can continue our trivia because I don't think it's fair. We have a couple more questions, and I don't think it's fair. You got the really tough questions, and I got the easy ones. So,
Okay.
so we'll continue. Anyway, so in terms of the cold, it may not be rainy and windy like yesterday, but it is cold.
Yeah, it is really chilly this morning. You can feel the dryness to the air, and with that, the cold weather sticks around. This is the beginning of a very cold period that lasts through the next several days. We start off this morning down in the 20s, only climbing to 37 up in West Milford, 39 in Sussex, and 39 in Morristown. Down toward the coast, say toward Jersey City and Hoboken and Newark, could warm into the low 40s. But again, that's brief under the mostly sunny skies. It stays very chilly for the next several days. And even though we picked up a sizable amount of rain yesterday, we'll see this severe drought up in northwestern New Jersey eventually shrink as some of that snow that fell yesterday drains down into the river basins and the aquifers. But until then, still running dry in terms of the percent of normal rain, because what fell yesterday was snow. So it takes a while for that rain to, or for that, obviously, measurement to be picked up as liquid water. And then down toward Newark, Long Branch, and Toms River, drier side, but better than the previous few days, especially with Morristown and Hackensack seeing just under a 1-inch rainfall deficit over the last 30 days. The cold is locked in right through the middle of the month. We are in the core of it. It stays chilly for the next several weeks. Look at where kind of in the bullseye, if you will, there in the northeast, and equal chances of dry and wet weather for the state going through the middle of the month. So yes, we have some opportunities for some wet weather, but beyond that, it stays chilly right through the next few days. The forecast points to highs only in the low 30s for Friday, down in the teens Friday morning. Saturday and Sunday, we managed to make it to 40, which will feel a little bit better. But again, slide right back into the 30s for highs, overnight lows for 20s. Not warming up anytime soon, Ken, as it stays really chilly going through the next week at least.
Okay. Well, by the way, I just discovered something while you were doing weather and I was going over traffic with Pam, our director. She has never heard of Moonachie, right?
What?
Right, exactly. She's born and raised in New Jersey. I'm from Westchester. I know about Moonachie. Moon over Moonachie. Remember Bill Evans used to talk about that. Like she says she's from the six of North Jersey. She's never heard of Moonachie. Moonachie's actually a very pretty, nice community. So just for
It's
the
a great
record.
community.
Anyway, it is a very nice place. All right, so I'll do quick traffic and then we'll come back and finish
Okay.
our snow trivia. Thank you, Mike. It is 35 degrees now, northern New Jersey, 29 in Trenton. Still, again, you notice the temperature's closer to the shore. I'm northeast New Jersey. The temperature's closer to the shore, go up and down, fluctuate depending on the winds coming off the river. But as you get inland, it stays cold. It has been 29 in Trenton all morning long. I know, Ken, they have a river there, but the river there is tiny. The edge of the Delaware River gap is very tiny there. Whereas we're talking Hudson River is a mile and a half across close to me. So that's where you get the colder, the more moderating air from the river. Never mind. Okay. We now have let's start with this. Let's go over to Route 17, shall we? There's a water main break on Route 17, southbound, south of Central Ave in Maywood. Pardon me, the right lane, the 2 lanes in the right shoulder are closed. If you look at the right side, those folks are going right into that area. So you could see that's where you have the bumper to bumper traffic. And that is actually closer to Maywood than Moonachie, but nonetheless, we just wanted to point that out too. Other issues that just popped up on us. We have a crash on the Turnpike northbound South Interchange 5, Route 541, West Hampton Township, with the left shoulder block down there, and a down pole on Route 9 northbound. Both directions north of Route 10, Gunning River Road and Barnegat, all lanes are closed. Over to the Garden State Parkway, disabled vehicle we've been showing you all morning. They're up to the shoulder now, but it's by just north of 147 Clinton Avenue, East Orange. All lanes are open. A little rubbernecking through there, but it's not a massive problem. That's more a volume issue than anything else there. Now, getting into the Lincoln Tunnel, we're now told 40 to 45 minutes. That is as people are coming around the helix and they hit the east direction, making their way just before they curve around into the tunnel. They're getting that sun right in their eyes, and that's causing a lot of people slowing down there to slow down. And so that is 40 to 45 minutes. Holland Tunnel is 35 in, and let's go to GWB 89.5 upper and lower approach. A little better than it was. So now we're told 35 to 40. You could tell both sides, upper or lower, are just about the same. Upper on the right, lower on the left. All right, is 7:51 right now, and I can't believe the response I'm getting on social media for this snow trivia is enormous. But yet, whenever we wonder, it's like people aren't calling in. Are they watching? Then I go over to social media, which is to my right over here. And on social media, they're all responding. So they're watching. People just don't want to take the time, or they're a little chicken to call in. The number people on social media is 888-658-0234. Don't worry, it's not video, it's audio. It's a regular phone call. 888-658-0234. If you're watching at home right now, you can call that number, 888-658-0234. We're not going to throw you against the wall, beat you. That's Sopranos. We don't do that here, unless you really beg for it. All right, let's bring on Mike again, if you will, Pam, please, our director. So, Mike, right now, you, professor of meteorology, teaching meteorology to thousands, have 2 points. And Ken Rosato should have been thrown out of school 7 times. That's 4 points. I call it luck of the draw, although the director gave me easier questions. All right. That aside.
Much.
That aside.
I have a history of the Welsh language over here.
Which New Jersey snowstorm holds the record for the highest statewide snowfall average? Again, which New Jersey snowstorm holds the record for the highest statewide snowfall average? Is it A, the January 1996 blizzard, B, the February 2010 Snowmageddon, or C, January 2016 blizzard? So is it 96, 2010, or 2016?
I think it was 96.
You know what? I thought it was Snowmageddon because I could remember Lee Goldberg at Channel 7 standing outside with 2 feet of snow. And I remember him outside during Snowmageddon. And I thought, wow, I've never seen that much in my life. We would both be wrong. It was actually January 2016 blizzard. How much did they get in January 2016? I got to look that up.
There must have been a lot more.
It's clearly.
Okay, that was probably when the banding was really popular. So we talk about these things called banding during snowstorms, where there's this updraft of energy that it's almost like a thunderstorm in the cold and it creating this thunder snow. And that was becoming, with some of these warmer ocean currents. So that was likely what happened in 2016. But I guess, I don't know, I guess they just all meshed together in my head.
Yeah, you had a lot of that stuff. All right, you got one for me?
I do. What is the fear of snow called?
Oh, well, let's see. Let's think of our Latin and our Greek. So fear is phobia,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
And then snow, depending on if we're talking Latin or Greek, would it be? It could be nevicophobia, snomophobia.
I thought that I thought you were on the right track, but get this, it's chianophobia, Chiono. Where did that come from?
I don't know what chiano is.
I couldn't figure it out.
Latin or Greek. I wonder what language chiano is from.
I don't know either.
But there's another one from
Mike.
That up. Mike wins that, chianophobia. All right, so this one, if you don't get this one, I'm going to be offended if you don't get this one. Which month does New Jersey usually see its first measurable snow? Is it October, November, or December?
It's usually December, measurable. Is it November?
Yes.
It's November.
Yeah.
In what climate record? We haven't had snow in November so long. I don't know. I
Yeah.
dispute
This,
that.
this,
I'm putting a an official dispute request with the grievance committee. Well,
I love
hey,
it.
there have been a lot of snowstorms across the U.S. Obviously every year. But do you know how many snowflakes fall on average every year in the U.S.? Like snowflakes. It's got to be a lot,
Now,
right?
are we
Because
counting people's political opinions?
that is immeasurable. However, I once heard the phrase there are enough stars in the universe. There are more stars in the universe than there are grains of sand on Earth. And when you think about that, you're like, wow, think of the deserts, think of all the things. Okay, so get this. How much snow falls in the US each winter? It's a number that's kind of outrageous. I don't even think you'll get this, but we could try. 10 billion snowflakes, a Google, which is a one with 100 zeros after it,
Oh my gosh.
or 1 septillion snowflakes, one with 28 zeros after it.
I would say the third.
Oh, septillion. Very good. Yes. 1 septillion
But that
snowflakes
was
fall
easy.
every year in the
I
US.
would say that's easy because you set me up nicely with the it's so
Oh, thank
many.
you. I
So
tried.
that
I tried.
see
I am
Mike
literally,
massages his shoulder.
I am finding trivia now in some of my old meteorology textbooks because I have run out of questions.
Love it.
Because Ken is
I
getting so
love it.
many right.
Well, I think it was unfair against you and certainly fairer for me. But okay, so I guess I get the belt this time, but we'll do another one. We'll do one on cooking, and you'll probably kick my ass on that. All right.
We'll have fun. We'll have fun with it. It's
Yes, we
all
will.
fun.
We always do. We appreciate you always, Mike. It is now 7:57 right here on New Jersey Mornings as I frantically search for my teas. And when we come back, how to elevate your holiday decor and make things look like $1 million for less. Plus, we'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. Be right back. Very good morning to you. 8 a.m. Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. We will take your calls at 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. Mostly sunny today, a few clouds later. It's about 40. Straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta with a check of Garden State forecast.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
So, Michael, you're a daddy. Christmas is 3 weeks from tomorrow.
It is.
That's crazy.
If
Is it
it,
is
it
it me
is,
or did it
there's
sneak up? I mean, it's as if it falls on December 25th each year or something. Oh,
right, and there
never
are
mind.
packages at the door every 6 minutes. I feel like between the couriers and whatnot, and then yeah. So mom's been shopping a lot for the baby. Excited, right? First Christmas, got to get all the stuff in. The tree is up, not decorated yet. We're working on there. It's a work in progress, right? We still have a little bit of time to go. But if you plan on decorating the tree this weekend, do the indoor stuff first because I don't think we're going to get through this weekend without just making it above the freezing mark each afternoon. It gets cold just like the afternoon today. Will stay chilly. It gets even colder still by this weekend. It's already feeling like 22 in Sussex, 26 in Newark. Warmed up a little bit, and to think that 25 is warmer than it was just an hour ago, it's kind of fun to realize that, yeah, we're going to stay chilly all throughout the next few days, including the harsh cold that arrives. It's 16 degrees colder than this time yesterday down in Bottom. So the clear sky today will keep us sunny. Doesn't do much to warm us up, though, especially with those winds running out of the north and west, bringing back even colder weather later on tonight. These are actual air temperatures that dive down into the teens for tomorrow morning, but get this, single digits by Friday morning. Plenty of cold weather, even down toward the coast, right into the 20s. Briefly have a light snow shower, I think, south and east of the Turnpike come Friday afternoon, and then that whole system zips out to sea. So not anticipating much in terms of wet or white weather for that matter, as most of that energy stays offshore. It's cold the next few days with temperatures holding in the low 30s for Friday, just making it to 40, maybe briefly on Saturday. So the indoor decorating, a great idea this weekend. Hopefully wait for some warmer weekends to get the lights on outside because, oh yeah, you'll feel it. It'll be chilly, especially just standing outside for more than a few minutes this weekend, Ken.
I don't know if you're like me. I always take a weekend where I have a free moment and I say, you know what, being that the weather is still mild enough, I should do X, Y, or Z because you're not going to want
Mm,
to do it when it's bitter cold. And then
yeah.
I find something else to do or I'm tired or I take a rest and then I never get it done. So then finally you're forced to do it when it's like 20 below zero out. Is it me?
I think it's all of us. You speak for everyone.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't just me. Mike, thank you very much, sir. 32 degrees, northern New Jersey, 30 degrees in Trenton. It's 31 degrees now in Vineland, and 32 degrees. Now it's 31 degrees down in Cape May. 8:03 is our time in terms of traffic. Let's go over to Route 73, shall we? We have a crash on Route 73. This is southbound at I-295 in Mount Laurel Township. The right shoulder is closed. You could see you have some police activity there on the right shoulder, and that's causing the delays that you see on Route 73 in Mount Laurel. We have a crash on Garden State Parkway southbound, exiting exit 4. This is way down south Cape May, Middle Township area. All lanes open, but causing a little bit of slowdown. We took a look at a camera one exit away, and we saw one van pass by. So I think that's a little more desolate part of the state, not as much traffic, which is a good thing, not a bad thing. We have a crash on the turnpike northbound south of Exchange 5, which is Route 541, West Hampton Township. The left shoulder is blocked there. And there's down pole, US 9, both directions, north of Gunning River Road in Barnegat. All lanes are closed there. Also, a water main break on Route 17 southbound, south of Central Ave in Maywood. The right lane and right shoulder are closed. Hudson River crossing is a little bit of an issue today. Go over to the Lincoln Tunnel A lot of it is sun glare on the approach to 495, and that's causing about a mile and a half backup. So they're saying 40 to 45 minutes into Manhattan via the Lincoln. It's about 35 via the Holland. GWB upper and lower level started to lighten up a little bit. Let's see if we still have that. This was lightened to 35, 40 minutes across 8095 approach on the GWB. That's about where it is now, too. So the upper level on the right, lower on the left. But once again, 90% of the vehicles, trucks. And the reason for that, aside from the fact that it's better the trucks take the GWB because it's wide open, they are bringing in holiday goodies and food and gifts and whatnot so that you can go shopping in the city. But unfortunately, that causes massive amounts of traffic for the months of November, December. It is 8:05, and of course, the holidays are here. Many of us are thinking about how to make our homes festive for friends and family. What many don't think about, though, is that small touches can actually make a big impact. You don't have to have Burl Ives singing in the background. Colleen Bennett is the owner and lead designer of CBB Design Firm, and we say good morning, happy holidays to Colleen.
Good morning, Ken. Happy holidays, and thank you for having me on your program this morning.
Good to have you on. So, I have a friend who starts decorating I'm not kidding, the end of October, she starts taking out boxes from the attic. And by the middle of November, her house looks like a Christmas store. I don't have that kind of energy. So let me ask you, what are some of your favorite holiday decor items and home projects to tackle before the new year? What was the best advice and what do you do first?
Well, I'm the opposite of your friend. I do not start till right after Thanksgiving. I give turkey its time, and I make sure we celebrate our pumpkins and our Halloween. And then I bring out all the boxes. But when I'm working on that and I'm decorating, or what I recommend is always focus on 2 to 3 colors when you're doing your interior design. Don't bring in 4 to 5s, like mixed metals. So like 2 to 3 colors would be like your creams, your golds, and your greenery. That would be one, right? Another one would be like black, brass, some deep cranberries. Or what I love is just like a nice white champagne with some golds and maybe a touch of some tin or some silvers, if that makes sense. Don't add in the bright neons that will really throw it off. You just want to keep it simple and you want to keep it elevated. And then just go outside and get that, as long as it's not cold. I was just hearing it's absolutely freezing where you are. But I would go out and I would get, again, some great greenery, add-ins, some beautiful branches and something just to tie that in with the colors, and put that out throughout the house. Don't go crazy all over the place. Pick 2 to 3 locations throughout your home, like your entryway, your mantles, and your dining tables. And those are things that I highly recommend just to get nice and easy. That first day after having your turkey, you're probably a little tired, or now you're in this week now, and get out there and just start working in those areas is where I would highly recommend. And
Nice.
then
Well, I go ahead. I'm sorry. Please
go
continue.
ahead, go
I
ahead,
thought
go
you were
ahead.
done with sentence. I was going to say I appreciate it when people do up their homes, of course, during the holidays, but sometimes they just overdo it. And you were talking about the fact that sometimes they mix in too many colors, but sometimes it's like just because you have 14 boxes in the attic doesn't mean you have to bring out all 14 boxes.
Right. I mean, you can rotate those. I love rotating those. I've got ones where I'm like, oh, I was really in a blue mood that year. I don't need that this year. Or if you're trying to bring a little bit of what I call zhuzh, right? Like bring, a little purples, some things that are unexpected. I'll try to rotate those every 4 or 5 years. But I try to stick to the staples, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
We collect like holiday cards. You know how you get the holiday cards coming in? And then what I love to do is just kind of have a whole bin of those where I'll just kind of watch how people are progressing, or not progressing. Sometimes you get different ones. But then I'll use those and make little books out of those and put those on, like, for coasters or coffee mugs. And it's just kind of like fun just to have as a different kind of DIY moment for your holidays, which is
Although I
great.
think I'm finding fewer cards each year. It's something. When I was a kid, we used to get like 100 cards, and now, like last year, maybe we got like 30 cards. And I think it's just a generational thing. The young generations just don't do the card thing as much unless they have kids and they want to show the progress of kids. That's what I'm finding. And everyone who has kids, they have a card.
Right, exactly. I'm actually fine. Well, I'm in North Carolina, so it's a very, I guess, southern thing to give a
Mm.
lot of cards. I mean, we probably get hundreds of cards, and sometimes you're just like, oh my goodness. And I always feel bad because I'm always the last minute getting my cards out, so they kind of fall between, Hanukkah, Christmas, and we'll hit New Year's. Mine are the New Year's holiday ones.
You send your holiday cards get there February. I
Pretty
love that.
much.
That's why That's why I love, I mean, not to mention a brand, but I've been using Shutterfly for years, especially for doing pictures. I always like sent pictures of my dogs. And so it was like you could always upload and have them automatically mail it for an extra 50 cents or whatever at the last second. So that was always my go-to, but that's just me. What are some easy ideas that people can try at home without having to spend money and just do it the right way at home?
Sure. So, some great ways of going about it is produce. I actually think like your pomegranates, your oranges, your walnuts, artichokes, they're fabulous for centerpieces. They're also fabulous for putting on your counter and your dining tables. And always put it in threes and fives. Don't put it in even numbers. When you have odd numbers, it looks intentional. And then, easy peasy is pull out the beautiful throw. You can go to Target, is what I'll call it, and you can get, a $15 throw from Threshold. And they have great products at just draping things. And then, obviously, just like I love, again, bringing back the greenery. Greenery is easy, that's cheap, and walk outside, cut yourself some beautiful greenery, put that on your mantles. Again, I love putting it on staircases. I think it just gives a fabulous smell. Um, Try to avoid scented candles. I find that, if you've already got this beautiful greens, you've already got some cedars, use natural. And I feel like that can just easily, give you this, what I would call a remembrance of like holidays past. Or take your apple cider and brew it on the oven and just let the scents filter out. I always do that. My kids just go, "Oh, Christmas time," and I
Yep.
think that's just a great way of naturally doing that. And then switch your bulbs. I know this sounds crazy, but your light bulbs are just go to a warm white in your home. It will immediately
Mhm.
set the mood. Look for like a 3200 Kelvin. Don't go 4000. That feels like a hospital, and that will literally make you feel better.
I love it. No hospitals at the holidays. Quickly, we got 10 seconds left. What's a website for more info, Colleen?
Sure, it's cbbdesignfirm.com.
I love it. Colleen Butte Bennett, owner and lead designer at CBB Design Firm, where it's a little more moderated in temperature than it is up here in the Northeast right now. We appreciate you coming on. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to you.
Same to you, Ken. Thanks for having me on.
We'll be right back.
Hey, New Jersey, want to choose how you live as you age? Tune to AARP New Jersey's new show, The Power of Us, the show that celebrates aging with dignity, purpose, and joy. From protecting yourself against fraud, to staying healthy and aging in place, to finding purpose through volunteering, we've got the tools, tips, and stories to help you thrive. Join us on ONNJ and discover the power of us.
Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato at 8:15, and we'll take your calls. 888-658-0234. Lots of sun today, maybe a few clouds later. Highs around 40. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the Garden State forecast.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
So we're still around the freezing mark, even with the sunshine coming in nice and bright today. It's going to feel chilly all day long.
Right, and it's a reinforcing shot, Ken, of colder air that comes in for later tonight, tomorrow, and the cold this day, I think, will be on Friday, when even a little bit of rain and snow falls offshore. We'll get to that part of the forecast in just a bit. As far as today, highs just making it to 41. It'll feel chilly most of the morning. We're in the 30s for the better part of the day, briefly touching 41 degrees. Even that wind chill right now feels like it's in the 20s, but it's the wind chill for tonight into tomorrow. That starts off our day on Thursday feeling like 8 or 9 degrees, single digits there showing up in the purple. Back to feeling like the 20s even at the coast tomorrow afternoon, but colder on Friday, down at 0 overnight into Friday morning. Feeling like 10 on the green in Morristown, 17 in Newark for Friday. So a really cold start to the last day of the work week, and then heading into the weekend. The chill sticks around. The wind chill will make feel like the 20s all weekend long. And it won't even be that terribly windy, just a little bit of a breeze after tomorrow's gusty winds up to about 20 miles per hour. Winds generally light, anywhere from 5 to 10 miles per hour. So the cold air certainly rushing in and sticking around. The clear sky that we have right now keeps beautiful into this afternoon, but again, chilly with the clear sky that lasts into at least the next few days, tomorrow and into Friday morning. I think by Friday afternoon, though, look what happens here on the Futurecast. We'll take this into the end of your day Thursday, a few passing clouds, and then we get this light rain that happens at the coast, might mix with some snow briefly by Friday afternoon, exits by the time the evening rush is done, and then it zips on out of here for Saturday. So we're keeping an eye on what may be a small nuisance of a system for a few hours Friday afternoon at the shore, and then it clears out for the weekend. Both days, Saturday and Sunday, dry and cold. Highs just reaching 40, Ken.
All right. Thank you very much, Mike. Sounds chilly. It is 34 degrees right now in northern New Jersey, 30 degrees in Trenton. That's 31 degrees in Cape May, and we have 31 degrees also down in Vineland. Excuse me. In terms of traffic, let's go over to 195 and take a look at what we have here. This is in Robbinsville. A crash on 195 westbound, just west of exit 7. The left shoulder is closed, and look at the mess you have there. And that's in, again, the Robbinsville area on 195 westbound, west of exit 7. We have a crash on the Garden State Parkway southbound, exiting at exit 4, which is Route 47, way down south, Middle Township. All lanes are open. That's causing some rubbernecking down there. Let's go over to Route 73 right now. We have an issue on Route 73 southbound at 295 in Mount Laurel Township. The right shoulder, as you can see, is closed there because of some police activity. Things just slow down a little bit, not awful. And a crash on the New Jersey Turnpike now northbound south of Interchange 5, Route 541, West Hampton Township with the left shoulder locked. We go over to, let's see, we have a pole down on Route 9, both directions closed north of Route 10. County Road 10, Gunning River Road, Barnegat Township. All lanes are closed. And a water main break on Route 17 southbound south of Central Ave in Maywood. The right lane of 2 lanes on the right shoulder are closed. Hudson River crossings right now. Let's go over to the approach of the Lincoln Tunnel, 495. You can see a lot of that is sun glare causing delays, but we're told it's 45 minutes now making your way. That's right before the helix takes you into the Lincoln Tunnel. That's bumper to bumper, pretty bad right now. So that's going to cost you 45 in. Holland Tunnel is about 30 to 35. And then it's a little bit better, but not a massive amount better, over at the approach of the GWB, 8095 upper and lower level approaches. You can see the upper on the right, lower on the left. A lot of trucks making their way into Manhattan right now, and that's going to still cost you 40 to 45 minutes. 8:19 is a time when the holiday season's in full swing. One of New Jersey's most beloved traditions returns to the stage. New Jersey Ballet is presenting The Nutcracker, along with the New Jersey Symphony Orchestra at the Mayo Performing Arts Center in Morristown, December 12th through the 27th. Maria Karowski is the New Jersey Ballet's artistic director. We say good morning to you, Maria.
Good morning, Ken. How are you?
Thank you. I hope you did okay with the name. Pretty close?
It's perfect.
Oh, thank you. I always get nervous. I don't want to mispronounce anyone's name. Well, the Nutcracker, of course, is a beautiful holiday tradition, but something special about this year's production. What makes this year's production so special?
Well, it's kind of crazy to think that this production has been around for 54 years. And since I took this job, I've been the artistic director for the last 5 years. We've added new things. We always make sure that we are updating scenery and costumes and choreography and making it special for people who are coming year after year. So it's a very exciting time. We're also honoring one of our longtime faculty members, Paul McRae, who's been a part of the production since the beginning. So it is a really wonderful, exciting time at New Jersey Ballet for the Nutcracker.
Very cool. And how much is a ballet performance elevated when the dancers are accompanied by live musicians, especially a whole symphony orchestra? You have the New Jersey Symphony behind you. So that must make such a difference when you could feel the music and hear the music right there with a live orchestra.
Oh, I mean, it makes all the difference in the world because the dancers are much more spontaneous. They really have to listen, and that music is like driving them. And I think it gives them such a wonderful, joyous energy on stage. And, for me, it's like the epitome of a performance to have live music with exceptional dancing.
And you speak from experience. You were a professional dancer, right? How does that experience influence the way you stage your performance? Do you kind of leave more time, let there be a little more spontaneity? How do you do? I mean, I know nothing about it from a professional perspective. So, what is difference in terms of staging?
Well, I think, I grew up with New York City Ballet. I've danced there for over 30 years. So I think it's, that production is, a staple in New York City. And I think coming to a new production in New Jersey, I have very high standards and expectations. So I've really elevated the production and made it really wonderful. So, maybe people don't have to go to New York City to see New York City Ballet. They can enjoy the performance of New Jersey Ballet right here in their own backyard. And I think we made some wonderful changes, and I just try to make sure that everyone is enjoying the process, but also making sure that everyone has a wonderful time, not only on stage but as an audience member as well.
Do you find that because we are literally a stone's throw from Manhattan, and so many people who live in New Jersey go to see shows and professional theater and whatnot in Manhattan, that the standards have to be as high in Jersey? You can't just be, this isn't Waukesha. No offense to Waukesha. This is just, we're in the shadows of New York. So you kind of have to be at that same level because that's what the audience is accustomed to.
I mean, I completely agree. New Jersey, I lived in New York for so many years, so I know what the theater is like there. And I have to say, we're so lucky in New Jersey to have such amazing theater here. I mean, you have the Paperman Playhouse. What I'm doing with New Jersey Ballet, I'm really trying to elevate the company and bring performances that you would see in New York City to New Jersey. And this production of the Nutcracker is exactly the same. I'm elevating it, making it as magical. We have lots of special effects and trying to make it just as special as you would if you were going to go to the city.
I love it. Talk about the kind of planning it takes to put together a show like this. How long in advance do you start planning? Do you find your dancers? How long does this take?
Well, right when the Nutcracker ends in December last year, we started in January. We had like a production meeting, just kind of going through things that could have been better, things that we need updating. And we usually start right away. I know I've been wanting to get new mouse costumes for the last 2 years. And in the summer, I was like, let's get it done. So we have those done. And I'm really excited to have that part of the production this year. And, the dancers we have, the company is about 22 dancers. We also have a trainee program with about 16 dancers. And so those dancers get to be a part of this production and they look forward to it every year. We also have about 50 kids from the New Jersey Ballet School that are part of the production. We started auditions for that in September. So they are able to, come into the studio, audition for different roles, angels and mice and soldiers, and then we choose them and they start rehearsals pretty much straight away. So we actually started everything a little bit earlier this year because we do want that world-class, really polished performance on stage.
It's, I think a lot of people don't realize you have a feeder system in performances, dance, troops, etc. You always have to have the next, well, like baseball, you always have to have next generation ready to go, right? And training.
Yeah.
When I worked at Channel 7, the Al Valley theater was right down the street, and I remember interviewing them so many times. And they used to have their new people auditioning, and they did it in the glass. I'm sure you know it. You could see them auditioning in the glass of the sidewalk. I once asked, why do you do it like that? And the response was, because New York is your state, is your audience right there. And if you're going to come here and audition for Alvin Alley, you better know to perform for them. And they were serious as a heart attack. So that stuck out in my mind as a response that, wow, they're really serious. And it's got to be the same for you too, I'm sure. Do you have what new design element or choreography adjustments do you have in this year's Nutcracker?
Well, I think last year we had a brand new Christmas tree, which is still, I feel like, a very new part of the production. I think we were still kind of adjusting to the lights. Everything is LED now, so that's a very big thing to adjust to when the production is 54 years old. So I think that is one of the major things that is going to be, we're going to make sure that it's looking as great as it can look. Like I said, we have new mouse costumes, and they are really fun. I think that that's going to be a wonderful addition to the production this year. We also have updated several of the costumes throughout the production, so I think everything will be a lot more sparkly and full of life. And always we're updating choreography, making sure that, not only is the audience, entertained, but the dancers are also still, inspired by the production every year, because we're doing the same thing every year. So it's important to kind of keep it updated and motivate them and keep them inspired as they, perform.
Maria, we got about 10 seconds left. What's a website for tickets or more information?
Mayoarts.org will have tickets for the Nutcracker, and you can also check out njballet.org for tickets for our Nutcracker, but also for the rest of our season, which would be wonderful if you love ballet and want to check out some of the rest of our performances.
New Jersey Ballet's Artistic Director, Maria Karofsky, thank you for coming on this morning. Merry Christmas. Have a wonderful show.
Merry Christmas to you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And we're coming right back. Very good morning to you. Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025. It is 34 degrees northern New Jersey at 8:30. I'm Ken Rosato, and welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. Lots of sun today, a few clouds later, highs around 40. Meteorologist Mike Avetta has your Garden State forecast.
Weather's brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
So it is chilly. We determined that. The question is, are we getting any blizzards anytime soon?
No blizzards anytime soon. No, no, no. We have a while, I think, at least before we tap into that part of the winter season. You need all the right ingredients for a storm of that magnitude to form. And yet, we have so much cold air that's showing up on satellite. Let me show you what I'm talking about. With a northwesterly breeze coming over a warmer ocean, this is the Gulf Stream, a couple hundred miles out to shore, and that's allowing for the a little bit of a lift happening in the atmosphere, that convection that occurs when the cold air meets the warmer ocean waters and forms those clouds lifting higher in the sky, and yet you get this little outline of the coastline about 75 to 100 miles offshore. So that's what's happening now, and you'll see up and down the East Coast throughout the satellite maps today, just due to that very cold air that's in place. And with temperatures that begin this morning in the 30s, only climbing to the low 40s, yeah, it'll feel chilly this afternoon. That's the wind right now, blowing from the north and west, at times gusting up to 24 miles per hour, making for a mean wind chill, even 14 mile per hour winds in Tom's River. Feeling chilly, well below our average of 49 degrees. And there's that outline I talked about before, showing up in the clouds throughout today. So, with our forecast pointing to clear and cold weather over the next several days, there's no threat of blizzard, no threat of snow for most of the state, but there could be a little bit of a rain snow mix at the coast by Friday, and that is a result of a system that tries to work its way offshore and just inches its way closer to the coastline by the time we get to Friday afternoon. Here's the futurecast by Friday morning. Notice the clouds move in, then a little bit of rain snow mix early in the afternoon Friday, but it's brief because the air is so dry. A lot of that moisture doesn't make it really much beyond north of 195 or even west of the turnpike, and the rest of the system zip out to sea later Friday night. So it's not too much of a concern, even on the futurecast, because all of these cold shots of air, with the density of that cold air just pushing that system out to sea one shot after the next. You can see it here running on by the storm center too far out to sea to make too much of an impact, and we get another round of reinforcing cold air for the upcoming weekend. So yes, very cold weather on the way, with our high on Friday only reaching 31, the morning low down in the teens. The actual air temperature will be in single digits in the northwestern counties by Friday morning, and then it stays very cold into early next week. Monday and Tuesday also have those temperatures that are holding just around the freezing mark. There's our snow and rain for Friday. Again, this is for the shore points, keeping it chilly going ahead into Saturday and Sunday, and Monday and Tuesday keeping temperatures rather cold, with highs only in the upper 30s, Ken. So it'll be hard to just make it above the freezing mark most days in the next week or so.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. Next week or so, I'll be watching. Yeah, we one of those alerts on the Associated Press the other day said the polar vortex is coming down for the
Sure.
first 2 weeks of
Mm-hmm.
December. So yes,
Here we are.
there it is, the polar vortex. To me, it's like when I think of polar vortex, I think single digits. We're not looking at that in the next few days, right?
Well, if you're in Sussex County or northern Morris County, yeah, early in the morning, single digits, absolutely the case. But by the afternoon, manage to make it up into the teens. So cold, yes, but you have to find your location in New Jersey to get those single digits.
Well, Pam, our director, is wooing left and right when I say single digit. Pam, is there anything that's too cold? What's too cold for you, Pam? Is there such a thing? -10. She said, so -10 is her threshold. When it gets to -10, then even she'll
Oh
complain
boy.
it's too cold. Ay, but like 35 is hot for her. So it is what
Right.
it is. Well, she goes through the changes. I'm just saying. Oh, I don't want to be anywhere near the house. Talk about hot flashes. I'm sorry. I better. She's saying maybe she'll be opposite. All right, Mike, we'll check in a little bit. I appreciate you, sir. 30 degrees right now, northern New Jersey, 30 in Trenton. It's 31 in Cape Bay and 30 in Vineland right now. Let's go over and look at the traffic. Route 3 right now, we have volume issues. This is eastbound Route 3 from east of Harmon Cove to east of Patterson Plank Road and Secaucus. All lanes are open. You can see a lot of volume right there. And yes, I am told the locals call it Secaucus. I've always called it Secaucus. What do you call it? 888-658-0234. When I was at Channel 7, we had this debate. One of the elected officials say it's Sea Caucus, and then I had a local call up and say, I was born and raised here. My grandparents were born and raised here. We call it Secaucus. We've never called it Sea Caucus. Anyway, so let us know what you call it. Either way, I'll say both. That way I make everybody happy. We go over now to water main break on Route 17 southbound south of Central Ave in Maywood. Right lane of 2 lanes on the right shoulder closed, and a crash on the Garden State southbound exiting way down south at exit 4, Route 47 in Middle Township. All lanes are open, but just a heads up on that. We have problems on the New Jersey Turnpike with a crash northbound south of Interchange 5, West Hampton, left shoulder blocked. And over on Route 9, both directions, we have a down pole impacting both directions, north of Route 10, Gunning River Road, Barnegat Township, with all lanes closed. Now, our 495 approach to the Lincoln Tunnel. This is just before the helix. Take a look. I think a lot of that is sun glare, causing everybody to hit the brakes before the big curve as you make your way into the Lincoln Tunnel. But we're told nonetheless damage is done with a 45-minute cross-through time into Manhattan. Holland Tunnel is going to cost you 35 minutes. And as you make your way over to the GWB 80 and 95 upper and lower level approaches, very, very heavy. A lot of it is truck traffic. Take a look. So on the right, you have the upper level. On the left, the lower level. And again, massive amounts of trucks. Vast majority of vehicles and trucks at this hour making their way into Manhattan. It's going to cost you at least 45 to 50 minutes at this hour. 8:37 is our time, and ultra-leftist James Solomon has won the mayoral runoff for Jersey City. He calls himself the Mamdani of Jersey City. Well, he's going to be the new mayor there. He beat out former New Jersey governor and fellow Democrat Jim McGreevey, though technically the race is nonpartisan. Any party can run. You don't have to go through primary. So this was a closely watched race to lead New Jersey's second largest city. The election followed a 7-candidate general contest in November, in which neither finalist secured more than 50% of the vote. This runoff centered heavily on affordability, rising housing costs, and the city's projected $150 million budget shortfall. No surprise for Democrats, right? They always have a budget shortfall. That means you're spending too much. Solomon has been called the Zohran Mamdani, as I mentioned, of Jersey City, with radical left-wing views on how to deal with affordability issues. By the way, that's the new catchphrase for Democrats. They use terms like sustainability, and now their new catchphrase is affordability. You know what that means? That's their way of taking away from President Trump and saying there are affordability issues. So when you hear that, that is a tested word that the Democrats are using in order to make it sound like the economy's doing badly. So if you hear affordability, tune out, because that's what that is. Interesting parallels. You see right there, Jim McGreevey. So we have interesting parallels between New York and New Jersey. Both New York and New Jersey had older white male Democrats who are former governors who were in their respective states, resigned in disgrace from their gubernatorial positions. They both ran for mayors of cities named for the state. Cuomo, New York City, McGreevey, Jersey City, right? And they both lost to people more liberal than them. Don't you find that interesting? I just find that an interesting parallel. Both of them basically, that's probably the end of their political careers. I don't see a comeback once you lose for mayor after having been governor. I could be wrong. 8:39. Speaking of elections, Nashville, Tennessee will continue to be represented by a Republican after former GOP Congressman Mark Green's resignation in July triggered a special election for Tennessee's 7th congressional district. So the person who won yesterday will serve through the end of next year, through the end of 2026. And then, of course, they have to run like everybody else in 2026 for 2027. Former state official Matt Van Epps was declared the winner. The district has been represented by Republicans for decades, and President Trump carried it by 22 points in the 2024 election. Senator Marsha Blackburn used to be the Congress member for this district. Still, millions of dollars from both parties flowed into the district ahead of the special election because Democrats were trying to make this kind of a test, a canary in the coal mine against President Trump. Well, they lost. The canary died because the Republican won. Democrat State Representative, a radical leftist, Afton Bain. Who names their friggin' kid Afton? I'm sorry. It sounds like hippie parents smoking dope. Yes, Mike. Yes, going to call her Afton, Aftyn. Like, what is that? Anyway, she won her party's special primary in October, but recordings of Bain surfaced and were put online, and she doesn't deny them, in which she said, quote, she hated Nashville, hated country music, hated and wanted to defund the police. How do you think you're going to get elected with that? You weren't. I guess Tennessee citizens finally realized they hate her as much as she hates them. Here's something interesting, though. The way mainstream left-wing media has been portraying this, they've been saying it was neck and neck all along, right? As it turned out, it wasn't neck and neck. Your ass, it was neck and neck. She lost by 9 points. I'm shocked she even lost only by that. I'm shocked she didn't lose by 30. But this guy right here, Matt Van Epps, he won by 9 points. That would be considered a landslide by anyone else's book. In New Jersey, Mike Sherrill won by 13 points, and everybody called that a landslide. This guy on the screen wins by 9 points, almost as much. And you know what the mainstream media said? It was a nail biter. How do you call 9 points a nail biter unless you are a lying propagandist piece of crap? And that says everything. 841, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem will recommend travel bans on more countries, citing concerns about criminal activity that is harming the U.S. The exact countries and start date for the proposed ban have not yet been announced. It would expand President Trump's earlier list of 19 countries to roughly 30. The announcement follows a shooting of 2 National Guard members in D.C. One died, of course, by an Afghan national who arrived under the Biden-era Operation Allies Welcome Program. In response, the Trump administration has paused asylum approvals and ordered a review of green cards from the 19 previously listed countries to ensure stricter vetting. Basically, there was no vetting, and these people got in, and now we have all sorts of problems as a result, and the left is going to give us problems trying to get them out. That's what the left does. If it's anti-American, the left is for it. 842, we have 29 degrees right now in northern New Jersey. When we come back, an ancient crunch from a modern snack. Mostly sunny today, a few clouds later, highs around 40. Meteorologist Mike Favetta will return with the full Garden State forecast. We'll take calls at 888-658-0234. 888-658-0234. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings on your Wednesday. Don't go away. We're back in 2 minutes.
Hey, New Jersey, want to choose how you live as you age? Tune in to AARP New Jersey's new show, The Power of Us, the show that celebrates aging with dignity, purpose, and joy. From protecting yourself against fraud, to staying healthy and aging in place, to finding purpose through volunteering, we've got the tools, tips, and stories to help you thrive. Join us on ONNJ and discover the power of us.
Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato at 8:45, taking your calls. 888-658-0234. Lots of sun today, maybe a few clouds later. Highs about 40. We go straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta with the Garden State forecast.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
All right, Mike, it is chilly. And of course, because I don't have one of those fancy schmitzy outdoor thermometers, my thermometer is saying now 33. It said 29, and it said 34. It's bouncing all over the place, I guess, depending on as the winds blow. I'm not in the sun. It's on the northern side of the house, for the record.
There's a lot of variables that go into play, but it's just cold in general, right? When you step outside and it's 29 versus 34, it's just cold, and it's going to stay that way over the next several days. At least there's no snow for northern New Jersey. We stay dry and sunny. It doesn't really warm up all that much. Staying in the 30s in the northwestern corner of the state, down toward the urban centers in the low 40s. The drought improving after yesterday's rain, especially with the rainfall deficit only up to an inch now in Newark, 1 to 2 in Morristown, but less than an inch right down the shore because you got hit hard with some wet weather there. Well, there's also a chance for some snow by Friday into Friday afternoon down the shore, but that just goes along with that colder than average feel that's forecast at least through the middle of the month. And even for rain or snow chances look to be pretty average going into the next 2 weeks. So wet weather around, yes, down the shore by Friday afternoon. For the rest of the state, it's just a little cloudy. I think we'll see most of that stay offshore. Saturday and Sunday features a cold start with numbers in the 20s. Temperature only climb into the upper 30s and just making it 40 by the afternoon. And then with that polar vortex sticking around into next week, look at the highs just getting above freezing early next week. So we are in it for at least the next weekend with this cold weather around, taking us into the second week of December.
All right, sir. Second week. Ooh, it's crazy that we're already approaching that. All right, Mike, we appreciate you, sir. 32 degrees, chilly, even freezing. Oh, I'm sorry, I should say goodbye. That is the end of our show for the day for Mike. Here's the last report. It is 32 degrees right now in northern New Jersey, 30 in Trenton. It's 30 degrees also in Vineland, 31 in Cape May. And in terms of traffic, let's take a look right now over at do you have that, the New Jersey Turnpike, Pam? So we're going to go to the turns. There you go. Thank you. So we have an issue right now on the Jersey Turnpike. Oh, this is the other shot, Pam. Can you go to the Eastern Spur North Southern Mixing Bowl, please? It's right next to it. All right, you'll take it up for us. Thank you, Pam. So we now have a crash reported. Thank you. You see that on the left? It looks like the same shot, but it's not. This is a few miles away. So on the left there, this is the New Jersey Turnpike Hudson County Extension, westbound east of Newark Bay Bridge in Newark. All lanes are blocked as they come around. So that's causing this bumper to bumper as you make your way down toward the Newark Bay Bridge. So that's what you have causing that traffic. We have a water main break also, Route 17 southbound south of Central Avenue in Maywood. One lane, the right lane actually, and the right shoulder both closed. Route 9, both directions north of Route 10 in Barnegat, all lanes are closed. And we have issues now over on, the 495 approach. Let's take a look. 495 approach, the Lincoln Tunnel. That is sun glare causing that, and you got about a mile and a half delay into the Helix and the Lincoln Tunnel as a result. That's causing 40 to 45 minutes to get in to the Manhattan. That's a new thing. The Manhattan. I guess you never heard of that before, right? Let's go over to the GWB if we can. 8095 approach, upper and lower levels, bumper to bumper. The upper on the right, lower on the left. Now we have more cars. This morning it's been basically 90 to 95% trucks. 'Tis the season. They are coming in to deliver all the goodies for the holidays and lots of food for visitors and the tourists as they make their way to Manhattan. 8:49 is our time. Speaking of goodies, Ancient Crunch is a snack company that puts a modern twist on heritage ingredients. The company just launched 2 new flavors of their yummy tortilla chips, Masa Hatch Chili and Vandy French Onion, available nationwide now. We're going to talk about their partnership too. Joining us today is Stephen Rofrano, co-founder and CEO of Ancient Crunch. We say good morning and happy holidays to you, Stephen.
Good morning, Ken. Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
You bet. Good to have you on. And Ancient Crunch has been around for a couple of years now. How did you develop the product and talk about the effort that it took also to promote it nationwide? That is a big deal. Now you have a new distribution through Sprouts Markets. You have to have a good product for that to happen.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was quite the story. Long story short though, I made it in my parents' backyard on Easter in 2022 because I had this argument with my friend who kept eating, normal store-bought tortilla chips, and I was telling him about how bad the ingredients were and how bad the oils were in them. And ultimately he was like, "You know what? Well, tell me what I'm supposed to eat instead." And so I started describing that you should have a tortilla chip with organic corn cooked in grass-fed beef tallow. He asked me where he could get it, and I told him nowhere. So I was left to go make it myself. And yeah, in Easter 2022, I got a turkey fryer, boxed tortillas, and some grass-fed tallow, and made the first prototype in my parents' backyard. These tasted so good, and they were so healthy that it's sort of the best of both worlds, right? We have the health foods that people think don't taste very good. We have the junk foods that people love, but they're not very good for you. And so to have both taste and health in one experience is pretty revolutionary. And so we started selling them, and it all took off from there.
I love it. I love it. And what's I've said for years that as long as say, and I know, I mean, in this case, you're using beef tallow, so it's not vegan, obviously. I can call it
Of course.
vegetarian. It's not vegan. But I've always said, like for my friends who are vegan or vegetarian, I always said if you produced food products that are vegan and vegetarian that were as good as non-vegan or vegetarian, I would become a vegan or vegetarian. It's because I'm not necessarily for the morals of it, but if it was good, I would buy it. And sure enough, there are a lot of products now, a lot of products that are, I would say, superior to their traditional counterparts. Your product I've tried is superior. No question superior. You can taste the difference. There is no question. How hard is it though for you to source all your good organic corn and beef tallow? For those that don't realize, beef tallow is better for you. Years ago, we thought we had to get away from it. It's actually a healthier fat for us, right?
hmm Yeah, that's right. So interesting about vegetarian foods, say like 100 years ago, there weren't really any vegetarian foods because almost every food was cooked with some kind of animal fat, whether it was butter or lard, which is bacon grease, or beef tallow, which is beef fat. And then starting in the mid-century, a whole bunch of junk science that we later found out was paid for by industry came out and said, those are bad for you, eat vegetable oils. And that was the gospel in public health for about 70 years until relatively recently people realized, hey, this science that we found all this, that all these ideas are based off of isn't actually that correct. We should go back to eating traditional animal fats the way our great-great-grandparents would have had it. And that is what people are realizing now. On sourcing those ingredients, because it's such a rare thing these days. I mean, McDonald's used to use beef tallow for their french fries, but they stopped in the 90s. A whole bunch of other restaurants did a similar thing. So supply chain for it really dried up, if you will. So finding tallow is a challenge. Fortunately, we have two pretty good partners today that can supply large amounts of it, which is fantastic. Other than us, the biggest consumer of beef tallow are people that turn it into biodiesel, just like they turn all fats into biodiesel. So like used cooking oil at restaurants goes to biodiesel if they have spare tallow that no one knows what to do with biodiesel. But it's such a waste because it's a healthy, nutritious fat. And so we've had luck sourcing that, fortunately. And then on the manufacturing side, that's been very challenging. We make everything ourselves in New Jersey, in Hackettstown, actually in Warren County. So building that from the ground up was quite the challenge. The reason for that, of course, being that the industry, all the factories that would make a chip, that do make chips, are not tooled up to use beef tallow. So we had to do it ourselves from scratch.
Good for you, though. And just for the record, people who don't realize, well, that's a saturated fat. But believe it or not, and you can check this out, things like egg yolks, beef tallow, it's like the divine when creating these things. There are peptides and enzymes in beef tallow that allow your body to properly break it down. That's the amazing thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost as if we were intended to eat it all from the start. It's
Almost.
the way we evolved as humans, right? Whereas the oils that are artificially produced from plant seeds and whatnot, they're awful for you for the most part, just awful, and God knows what kind of cancers or whatever. I mean, I don't have scientific evidence about the cancer part. There are a lot of people who swear that that is a problem, and so try to avoid those processed oils for anything. Just avoid them. By the way, you make your own beef tallow. If you have scraps of meat, put it in some water, boil it off, and then chill it in the fridge, and you could scrape off the nice clean beef tallow if you want to do it yourself, right? But that's because it's
Yep.
precious. You really want that. So talk about how you came up with your new flavors now. I love this. The hot chili is delicious, and the onion. Talk about that.
So yeah, we launched in Sprouts in October of this 2025, and Sprouts is based in the Southwest, and they want an exclusive flavor that represented something special for them and their customers. And so the Hatch Valley of Mexico is a very popular place to grow chilies, and every year there's conventions and contests of like who has the best chili made with the chilies that grow in this valley. And so that was a natural overlap for them. We could take our approach to designing flavors, which is only clean, natural spices, no maltodextrin or artificial flavors or even natural flavors or additives. It's literally just the spices. And so we took our approach and that overlapped well with their cultural background from the Southwest. So that was the inspiration for the Hatch chili flavor. And the other one that we have with them is French onion, and that's potato chips. So we make potato chips too. And French onion is our take on the sort of the standard sour cream and onion potato chip. Of course, if you look at any sour cream and onion potato chip package, the flavor ingredients are abysmal. And it's so unfortunate because it's a delicious flavor, very savory, very rich. And it's a very strong heritage American flavor. There's a little story behind why sour cream and onion chips are so popular. After World War II, the freeze drying technology that was used to create all the shelf stable foods for the troops, they started to apply that to consumer food, and that's how you got this whole powder dupe thing. So powdered French onion soup was popular in the post-war because the troops were like, they wanted to remind themselves of back in the trenches. So they brought it back with them. Same thing with instant coffee. That was another post-war popular item. And someone just decided, hey, we'll put the powdered soup, instead of making soup out of it, let's just put it in sour cream. And then they did, and it was delicious. Started dipping potato chips in it, and then I think Lay's, the big potato chip company, got wind of it and said, "You know what? We'll give you the sour cream and onion without sour cream. We'll just put it in the chip itself." And thus was born the classic sour cream and onion potato chip. So
But of course,
our version of that,
they did it in an artificial manner. We're down to 30 seconds. That's why I'm cutting it. They did it with an
pleasure.
artificial manner so it'll last on a shelf for a year. Yours is shelf stable, but for a very short amount, which is why yours tastes better.
Yes.
What's the website for more information?
Masa Chips, MASACHIPS.com for the tortilla chips, and Vandy Crisps, VANDYCRISPS.com for the potato chips.
Stephen Rofrano, buy his product. It's delicious. CEO of Ancient Crunch, now available nationwide at Sprouts Markets. Congratulations on that. Thank you for coming on this morning, and happy holidays.
Thanks, Ken. You.
Have a good day, everybody.